Welcome to friendly Manitoba. More than just a slogan, I've met countless people who've invited me inside of their homes and kitchens in this incredible coast-to-coast culinary adventure. Truth be told, this is actually about take number 15 because people keep walking by, saying hello and asking where I'm from. It is also home to some incredible Canadian food icons like Crown Royal whiskey, Old Dutch potato chips, pizza pops, and the beloved Red River cereal. A great place to kick back, relax, unwind, and maybe do a little fishing. Welcome to Manitoba, baby.
Hi, I'm Kix. I love food, travel, and motorbikes. This year, I wanted to see my own backyard, Canada. So I decided to ride the second largest country in the world, coast to coast, on a 250cc dirt bike. It was an incredible opportunity to see the real Canada from inside the kitchens of real Canadians. These are the people and foods that make up this incredible country. Welcome to the Cooked in Canada motorcycle adventure. I was headed to the small town of Gimli, Manitoba, home to the biggest whiskey manufacturer in Canada, to learn about the largest population of Icelanders outside of Iceland in the world, and a local recipe called maple-marinated pickerel cheeks. I left Bergen, Saskatchewan, and crossed into the beautiful Duck Mountain Provincial Park in Manitoba, a stunning reserve with fishing lakes lining the roadside, and set up camp for the night. Well, set up camp after drying out my tent from the rainstorm I'd slept in the night before. Day one, welcome to Manitoba. We are in the Duck Mountain Provincial Park. Just setting up for dinner in the background here, and you might be able to tell from the moto that it was a little muddy on the way in today. And last night, was my last night in Saskatchewan, and it was a friggin' thunderstorm. Oh my God, it just went on and on and on. Woke up at 2 or 2:30 in the morning, and you just see the quick flash of lightning, and then the boom, and everything would light up, and it just poured all night long. Oh my God, there wasn't much sleep involved. So as you can see, there is the two tents, or not the two tents, the tent split in two, hanging in the tree because they've been in my backpack all day, and they are soaking wet from last night. So a trick I learned down, I think that was in Peru because it rained so much, was that the next day, every day after I had to land, I had to air everything out because it was always wet before I set it up. So there's part of the tent, and there's part of the tent. We are going to go and check out, I think this is called Child's Lake or Child Lake. I haven't seen it yet, but there is a convenient little path with a sign that says shore fishing this way. So perhaps we'll bust out the rod and check it out. Although I did hear some thunder clouds over yonder to the west of us a little bit ago. And I might want to get my camp set up just in case it rains again. But in terms of views, I'm not sure what the murky green stuff is, but otherwise, look at that view. Wowzers. First day, Manitoba. It's going to be adventurous and delicious. Utilizing what was left in my saddlebags, tonight it's a gourmet biker dinner for one of canned sardines in spring water, pearl couscous with turmeric, and black truffle salt from the Italian Star Deli the day before. I make it sound a lot better than it really was. From Duck Mountain, I headed south to the Watchhorn Provincial Park in plus 30 degrees Celsius weather, burning under the summer sun. After a bit of lakeside ice cream and a swim in the anticlimatically shallow lake,
Swim time, baby.
I settled in for a couple of days of sunshine at my new lakeside office. No matter how far I ride, it just seems I can never outride a to-do list. I'm trying to get to Gimli, but the further I ride, the more it looks like I might just be riding right into one hell of a summer storm.
There is a thunder shower, 91% chance here at 5 o'clock where we are. So I think we're going to have a little change of plans here, and we're going to go back north and follow this road all the way south. We still have to go south, but I'm going to see if we can kill some time going this way and hopefully down here Not really sure what is along that way. Let's just set our sights the opposite direction. And hopefully, oh, look at the sun up there. It's almost gone too. Hopefully we can avoid that nasty cloud in front of us. A little change of plans here. Gimli bound, kinda. Just the opposite direction. Just a few minutes into that update, and it is starting to rain. Just have to return around like seconds ago. So, oh man, I can feel it already. It's time to change outfits here because I don't like getting soaking wet. I don't have to. You probably can't hear it on the camera, but the thunder in the background is rolling like a Garth Brooks hit. All right, suited up. Hopefully we can avoid this disaster of weather. Okay, looked like there was a big rainstorm behind us, so our original turnaround plan now has us turning around again, but just to the left of us is like a wall of white. So I don't know if that is like, oh man, it doesn't look good. If that is hail or rain or what, but I'm hoping there is something in this town that I can hide out in. Whoa, there's some strong wind for like an hour or two while this hopefully passes. It is not looking good.
Looking for anything I could find to avoid the rain or hail or whatever was beginning to unleash from the heavens. The first thing I spot is a fuel station with an overhang and immediately ride right up onto the walkway under the canopy. Good news, I'm out of the rain. Bad news, they're closed. Looks like today I'll be watching the action without any popcorn.
My guess about the showers was accurate. It is crazy. And there is like sheets of water pouring down. Wow. I think I might be here for a while, so we're just gonna sit back, relax, and take it in. Woo! It is getting nasty.
After a couple of hours at the abandoned gas station hiding out, there was finally a quick break from the downpour. Opting out of camping, I looked for the closest place I could spend the night. Turns out, there's a motel in town just up the road, and at this point, any questionable dry place will do. And well, that's exactly what I found. After grabbing my key from the bartender, I checked into a room where someone had just checked out of. Oh boy.
Nope.
If we're looking for positives here, I guess it's better than walking into a room that someone was still staying in.
All right, take two. This room was cleaner. Anyways, this is where we're spending the night. Nice single room for one, with a lovely view of the rain outside, and a nice shot of the Fisher Branch Motor Inn Hotel. We're back on the road. Today is Gimli Pickerel Cheeks Day.
Departing from my night in Fisher Branch, population 500, I'd grabbed a pizza from the local pizza shop the night before and noticed there were school graduates' faces on power poles with their names on it next to the photo. I'd asked the youthful pizza guy if he liked it when his face was up on the pole. He said he graduated the year before and kind of enjoyed his face up on the pole for the whole town to see. Would I have liked that bit of small-town celebrity? Yeah, probably.
Looks like these people's parents are really proud of him at Min's Restaurant and Motel. Congratulations, Ivan, class of 2023. Haley, very nice work this year. Danielle, excellent job. Rona, very nice.
I'll never know why things happen the way they do. But here, in the parking lot of the questionable motel, I met this guy, Daryl, who happened to be friends with these guys, the Hutterites, who I was desperately trying to befriend to learn about their cuisine. How it all happened all seems quite remarkable, but I probably wasn't the first person who got lucky in this motel parking lot. In the late 1800s, economic conditions in Iceland were just as unstable as the environment. Eventually, both reached their breaking point in 1875 when a volcanic eruption blanketed croplands in ash, suffocating any final hopes of a brighter future for most of the country. In search of a better life, Icelanders fled across the globe, and by 1885, a large number of those migrants had made their way into Canada. Starting in Ontario, they took a boat to Duluth, Minnesota, then trekked their way to Grand Forks, North Dakota, where they traveled by steamship to the Assiniboine River and eventually floated the rest of the migration to Lake Winnipeg. Here, on the shores of the fish-rich waters, they established a settlement as part of New Iceland. The descendants of these great voyagers make up the largest population of Icelanders outside of Iceland and still live here today. Marked by a 15-foot-high Viking statue on the edge of Lake Winnipeg, the area of New Iceland, or specifically the settlement of Gimli, is known for its water activities like yachting and fishing. The town enjoys a brisk tourist season in the summer, has a beautiful promenade to enjoy for the most part, and overall, the streets roll up at dusk. However, an incredible element hidden under these quiet streets is known the world over. A unique aquifer, naturally filtered by limestone beneath the lake, feeds the area's water supply, and that of the nearby Crown Royal whiskey plant, Canada's best-selling whiskey.
And this, my friends, is where they make Crown Royal. Like fields and fields of buildings. This place is massive, although relatively unappealing.
Tapping nearly 3.4 million liters of water for use in the whiskey's production. There are more barrels of whiskey in this town than there are people in all of Manitoba. Locals say it's the area's remarkable water that makes Crown Royal what it is. Naturally, I had to buy myself the motorcycle-sized edition. Looking to uncover more of the town's hidden gems, I was able to track down local 𝗔𝗯cie 𝗂𝘁 Viking descendant and the female equivalent to 𝗔𝗂, the mythical Viking chef of the gods. Her ability to prepare Scandinavian and Canadian delights, notably Manitoba's maple-marinated pickle cheeks from the bounty of Lake Winnipeg, is otherworldly.
I'm Keely.
Keely, you're the matriarch of the family?
I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say my mother is. My folks actually live on the other side of the duplex that we are in.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of family in the neighborhood.
That's pretty
We're
crazy.
slowly turning it into a colony here, I think.
The pickle cheek colony.
So this is Tyler and my other son Brandon.
Tyler, Brandon.
My adopted kid Owen here.
Owen.
He's lived with us for almost over a year now, I guess.
Almost a year.
Yeah, almost a year.
And where were we living before? Here also or somewhere else?
Before I was in Calgary.
Oh, that's where you were living in Calgary.
Yeah, I was living in
I
Calgary,
thought you
yeah.
said for a class.
But he lived here when he was younger. For
Yeah, I lived here when I was.
many years.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah.
And what's so great about Gimli?
Lake life.
It's not Calgary, Alberta.
Not a big city. It's
Yeah.
small town, but it's close enough to the city that you can,
Yeah.
get all the conveniences if you need them.
Yeah, all I did was do like a drive through town because I've only been here for like an hour, but I will spend a couple nights here probably. And it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like it looks like, oh my god, they're right on the water and
It's
very
pretty quiet in the
polished
winter.
looking. Yeah.
And it's an old, there's a lot of older residents. We kind of joke that they roll up the sidewalks at 6 here. Everything
Yeah.
kind of shuts down, and they're getting a little better now that it's summer because we've got tourism and stuff. So things are open, and they usually have music down by the down at the water by the pier and stuff.
A part of the fish I wasn't even aware could be eaten are these loony-sized cheeks of the pickerel. However, in Gimli, they're savored. Keely agrees to conduct today's cooking class at her aunt's house, a few houses down from where she lives. No stranger to the kitchen, her aunt published a series of best-selling cookbooks, Wild and Wonderful, as well as the Weber's Northern Lodges collection. Keely worked at the Weber's Lodge near Churchill, Manitoba during the summers between college.
One of my jobs was making this for breakfast twice a week. Usually we do it, and
Plus you're like a pro.
it's really good.
Yeah.
I wish I had more cheeks because it's never enough.
Today's recipe, maple marinated pickle cheeks, is a family creation inspired by a recipe called Gail's maple marinated fish fillets. Keely made a few adjustments to the recipe, including substituting gluten-free flour for the typical wheat flour used to accommodate her son Tyler, who's a celiac. Inside the kitchen, our fearless leader lays out an execution plan, while Tyler gets to work on mixing up the ingredients, and Owen organizes a pot of oil, then calculates the proper temperature for cooking. From his wheelchair, positioned at the end of the prep table, Brandon has a plate-level view of what's going on and assumes the role of food critic for today's class.
That's not your natural hair color.
Yep.
Okay, I'm like, you have like extremely red hair.
No, same color as mine, but we bleached it this winter. He wanted red hair, and we kept dyeing it like red, like you go and get red hair dye, like normal red hair.
Yeah.
But he could never really see it. He kept saying it wasn't red, it was black, and we realized he's partially colorblind. And we realized he couldn't see the red because it wasn't bright red, so we went bright red. And then he could see it red.
Problem solved.
It was more like his pants when we first did it back in March.
Oh wow.
This is quite faded now. It's time for another
It's super red hair.
dye job.
Born with a mitochondrial disorder, Brandon's unable to walk or talk, and communicates via sign language and with his phone. Amazingly, I'm married to a sign language interpreter. But after introducing myself, my sign language skills fall a little flat.
Do you know any?
Well, I can spell my name.
Can you show him yes and no? He's very good at 20 questions.
I can be like, hi, my name is K-I-X.
There you go.
That's
It's more than most people.
that's about the extent of it, but I can understand a little bit.
For today, a clear hand gesture will sum up everything, as the entire outcome of the cooking class rests on whether or not Brandon gives the dish a thumbs up or a thumbs down. First in the production line are the cheeks that have been marinating in maple syrup for 24 hours. Next is a mixture of gluten-free flour, or regular white flour would do, some cornstarch, baking soda, salt and water. The batter is meant to be thick like a beer batter so it can stick to the cheeks. Keely grabs the cheek with one hand, drops in the batter, then grabs it with the other hand to remove it and drop it in the oil. She points out that you shouldn't rinse the cheeks, just remove them from the maple syrup and right into the batter. Owen watches them cook, ensuring nothing sinks to the bottom or gets stuck to the side, and points out that around here, people like to venture out a bit with their pickerel cheeks. You can find locals putting cheeks on anything from pizza to fish tacos. After 4 to 5 minutes, the battered cheeks become a golden brown and a balloon to look like a slightly flattened timbit. Then, out of the oil they come with a slotted spoon and onto some paper towel to cool. Waiting just long enough to avoid burning off our taste buds, everyone soon grabs a cheek and sinks their teeth in. I'm not really sure what to expect. It reminds me of those shows that explore weird carnival foods. And today, we're trying the fish-flavored mini donuts.
It's it's very good water.
Oils are good.
A little bit of salt and those things are perfect, honestly.
Yeah, it's like really meaty. Yeah, that's one good pickle cheek.
Though it's not my opinion that matters here. This is my first time eating them. It's Brandon's expert opinion that this whole recipe rests on. Keely puts one slightly cooled cheek in front of Brandon. He takes a bite, and there's a bit of a hushed angst that comes over the crowd where we all wait for his verdict. The final scene in the movie Gladiator replays in my mind. A thumbs down equals certain death, but a thumbs up means you've won the crowd. Do we live or die by this recipe? He looks at the cheek, he looks at us, smiles, and gives us 2 thumbs up. We've won the crowd. As the conversation flows, Keely explains the unsettling gap between her steak feasts. In her teenage years, she developed an autoimmune disorder that got considerably worse as she grew older, and eventually required chemotherapy just to treat the disease. In the midst of raising kids and dealing with the chemo, eventually her intestines failed, and at its worst, she was reduced to palliative care. The only option for food was IV nutrition. Not just a short-term solution, but 8 years of IV nutrition. Whoa.
I couldn't eat for about 8 years.
What?
It was all IV nutrition because
For 8 years, you had IV nutrition?
Yep. It was not fun. But I had I had a central line that they'd run it through, and IV meds, IV fluids, the whole works.
Yeah, I remember when I first met you, I never saw you eat, and I was
I could have lifesavers, and that was pretty much it for the better part of 10 years.
Oh
But,
my god.
Yeah, but by 2016, things were starting to improve, and
Maybe that's why you like steak so much.
yeah, now I like, yeah, I'm a big foodie now. I can eat again, and I can.
bet. I'm gonna have such an appreciation
Food
for
is
like hard foods
wonderful.
if I couldn't eat for 8 years.
Yeah, it was long.
If you took away my ability to eat solid foods for nearly a decade, you'd be taking away my identity, my way of life, and probably my sanity. We wrap up the day with some brown sugar-laced 𝗔𝗂𝘁.
So 𝗔𝗂𝘁 are Icelandic pancakes. They're really just
Sorry, 𝗔𝗂𝘁?
𝗔𝗂𝘁.
𝗔𝗂𝘁, okay.
Yeah, they're really just kind of an Icelandic twist on crepes with brown sugar and cinnamon.
The recipe was passed down to 𝗂𝘁 from her mother's great-grandmother when she came over from Iceland on the boat, an impressive lady who embarked on the journey along with 9 of her 10 children. At the last minute, her husband opted not to come and asked if at least one of the children would stay behind with him. Unbelievable! This thin, crepe-like treat is made in a similar fashion with flour, eggs, and butter. Today, while they're still hot from the pan, Owen spreads a thick layer of brown sugar and cinnamon inside, rolls them up,
Oh yeah, look at that roll up.
and then they're cut like these cute little cinnamon buns. Delicious. And we got another double thumbs up from Brandon, so you know they're good. With so much incredible diversity in this country, I love to know what Canadian cuisine is to locals.
I think it's a lot like the Canadian people. It's kind of everything. It's a melting pot.
The closest thing you'll get to Canadian cuisine is native to here, and not that's been influenced from other cultures that have come here, which is also great. But purely Canadian, it would be foraging, and wild meats would be the closest thing.
Caribou, fish.
That is across all of Canada, that is the one thing it all has in common, is that it relies on wild berries and a lot of wild meats.
Yep.
We wrap up the day, and before leaving town, I return to one of the local fish shops to grab a bit of smoked goldeye from Lake Winnipeg. The fish is vibrant red from the smoke and naturally oily. It tastes incredible.
Actually, it's the exact same meal last night, and it was so good I went and got it again. I was told that they leave the head on the goldeye so you can identify that it's actually a goldeye because it looks similar to other fish. Oh yeah. That is delicious.
I met a couple in the grocery store parking lot in a large overlanding truck who said they spent a week at this place called Hecla Island, catching over 100 pickerel a day. That's all I needed to hear, and off to Hecla I went. This island was originally settled by the second wave of Icelandic immigrants who arrived in 1876. It was originally known as 𝗏𝗁, which means the Magnificent Island. And the name says it all. People usually say about amazing places that it must be something in the water. If one of the country's premier whiskies has set up shop here, and the largest population of Icelanders outside of Iceland were drawn to the area from half the world away. For Gimli, it looks like there's definitely some truth to that saying. Hey, you there, my little adventuring friend. If you're enjoying the show, take a minute to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Your support helps us get this show out to more incredibly awesome people just like you. And thanks for watching. Next time on the Cooked in Canada motorcycle adventure, I finally get myself inside a working how-to-rent kitchen with the help of this guy for a hands-on class on turkey pot pie.